Next concept we are going to see is about interference. So what is meant by interference is the phenomenon of addition or the superposition of two light waves. So when you consider two light waves, if you just add those two light waves and superposition is what? One over the other. Okay, so like this. Yes, superposition of light waves which produces increase in intensity at some points. Because of this, what happens? At some point there is an increase in intensity, at some points there is a decrease in the intensity. Okay, that is called as a interference. Okay, so the phenomenon of addition or superposition of two light waves which produces increase in intensity at some points and decrease in intensity at some other points, that is called as a interference. Clear? For this, let us consider two light sources which are S1 and S2, and this two are meeting at the point P. Okay, and the equation y1 is equal to a1 sine omega t. General equation is y is equal to a sine omega t. For y1 we are writing it as a1 sine omega t, and for y2 we are writing it as a2 sine omega t plus phi. Okay, for the two waves we are writing this because this is the addition of, okay, because of the interference. Yes, and when the two waves are having the same amplitude and same frequency, only the phase difference are changing, then the total y can be written as y1 plus y2. Okay, so y is equal to y1 plus y2. Y1 is a1 sine omega t and y2 is a2, this is a2 sine omega t plus phi. Okay, and so the general equation which we know is from the trigonometries, it is y is equal to a sine omega t plus theta. Okay, so a sine omega t plus theta. Yes, and so this equation, having this equation, a is equal to, so this equation which we have seen already from the amplitude. So amplitude a is equal to what? Root of a1 square plus a2 square plus 2 a1 a2 into cos phi. Okay, so this is a value of amplitude. So a1 square plus a2 square plus 2 a1 a2 cos phi. Same way, phi is equal to tan inverse of a2 sin phi plus, divided by a1 plus a2 into cos phi. Okay, so these equation which we have seen already. So taking with this equation, the resultant amplitude is maximum. When it will be maximum? When you add with these two. So a1 plus a2 the whole square, and the values are 0 plus or minus 2 pi plus or minus 4 pi. This is for maximum amplitude. Next is minimum amplitude, when a1 minus a2 the whole square, and the values are plus or minus pi plus or minus 3 pi and plus or minus 5 pi. Okay, so this values will be minimum. Clear? Then intensity I is equal to, the formula is a square. This formula is very very important. I is equal to, I is proportional to a square. Now same way, this equation can also be written as, instead of this I, if you are writing the value of a, if you write it as I itself, so it is I1 square plus I2 square. Okay, 2 into I1 I2 cos phi. Okay, so if we take the square root, we get I1 I2 plus 2 into root of I1 I2 into cos phi. Okay, so this can take, phi can take the value of 0 plus or minus 2 pi and plus or minus 4 pi, and this is said to be a constructive interference. And same way, next is I max, which is proportional to a1 plus a2 the whole square, and so which is proportional to I1 plus I2 plus 2 into I1 I2 cos phi. Cos phi, the value is considered to be 1. This is a destructive interference. Okay, is taking with the formula of minimum intensity I minimum, which is equal to a1 minus a2 the whole square. Okay, and this is also proportional to I1 plus I2 minus 2 root of I1 I2, and the case is a1 is equal to a2 is equal to a. If we substitute a1 is equal to a2 is equal to a in the value of a, okay, so instead of this a square plus a square, a square plus a square is 2a square. Same way, this is a into a. A into a is again a square. Okay, bring this to a square common outside, and so the remaining is 1 plus cos phi. Okay, so what is this 1 plus cos phi is 1 plus cos theta. The formula is 2 cos square theta divided by 2. This is a formula for 1 plus cos theta. Same way 1 plus cos phi can be written as 2 cos square phi divided by 2. Okay, now already we have the 2 here, and here also we have the 2, that becomes as 4. Okay, so 4 a square cos square into phi divided by 2. So this is all in the root of. Yes, now we can also bring this outside, because 4, if we take the root, that becomes as 2. A square also we can bring it outside as a. Cos square also we can take it as cos. Okay, and so we get a is equal to 2a into cos phi divided by 2. Okay, and what is the formula for intensity? I, that is proportional to what? A square, is it not? And so substituting instead of a this value, so we get I proportional to a square. So you square this, 4a square cos square 5 by 2. Okay, now again, what is the value of a square? That is, can be written as I naught. Okay, so instead of a square, written here as I naught cos square 5 by 2. Okay, and if this value of 5 by 2 is considered to be 0, cos phi is what? 1, and so I max, which is equal to 4 I naught, when you take the values to be 0 plus or minus 2 pi, 4 pi, etc. Okay, so we have got the value of intensity. Yes, and same way when you are considering for minimum, the phi takes a value of plus or minus 5, plus or minus 3 pi, 5 pi, etc. Okay, so this is the interference of two waves. Clear?